Hello friends, it's CJoy of CJoy Yoga, and today we're going to just do a fairly general practice to get a little bit into everything. It's the once all over. So you'll notice I have two blocks and I have a strap by my mat, so if you want to click pause and go ahead and get to those. And if you don't have those things at home, for a strap you can use a towel or a belt or a necktie, something to wrap around your foot that you're going to be able to grab in extension. And bricks. Gosh, if you don't have bricks, you could probably use books or, I've said it a couple times, little children's heads. I don't know, get two kids underneath you, you're totally golden, right? But just a little something that you can A, start to sit on in the beginning of class, B, use to support you in your lunges. So once you gather all that stuff, come on back. You'll notice I placed my blocks one right next to the other, so I have a really luxurious height to sit on here instead of just one little block. So come to seated. If cross-legged is available for you, go ahead and take cross-legged. If you need to extend a leg for a knee injury, you do. If you have another position that is better for your body, please go ahead and take that. And I'm going to turn sideways here before we close our eyes. You're going to go ahead and you're going to bring your hands on the back of the blocks, whatever you're working with, right? And then you're going to pull that just a little forward to try to slide the shoulder heads back lightly, right? We tend to be a pitcher forwarder society, so go ahead and bring the body back until the ears are over the shoulders, are over the hips, not so far that everything's grabbing to hold you up, right? That's hopefully the very middle of the buttocks bones. We found this beautiful broad collarbone. So now we shift our hands forward, leaving the elbows draping underneath the shoulders, palms up or palms down, whatever feels groovy. Go ahead and close your eyes. And with the eyes closed, start to tune in. I'm going to talk you through a body scan, bringing your awareness into your forehead and the muscles around the eyes, the eyebrows. Check into your tongue and your jaw and make sure that it's not clenched or the tongue's not glued to the roof of the mouth. Check into your throat and your neck. And bring that over to the shoulders, all the way down through the arms, hands, and fingers. Checking into the chest and the upper back. And we're relaxing what we can, but we're also checking in and seeing if there's other information the body is giving us, right? Sensations. Checking into the mid-body area, right behind the kidney band, low floating ribs, the belly and the low back. Softening down through the hips, especially at the very front of the hips, the psoas. Let that soften, let the legs get heavy here. And then softening through the legs all the way down the feet and the toes. And then we'll take just a few more moments with our eyes closed here, and we'll start to focus our awareness on our breath. I work a lot with the soft belly breath. It can literally be that simple, and you start to get humongous benefits from the breath, right? The belly is so darn soft that when you inhale, the belly floats away from the spine, nice and naturally, you're not forcing. And when you exhale, the belly is so soft that it naturally starts to move in towards the spine. And go ahead and do that a couple of times for yourself. Your inhales, your belly just floats out away from the spine. And with your exhales, it will float back in. And I like to remind people we're breathing deeper, but not so deeply our eyebrows go up to our hairline or our shoulders move up to our ears or any of that other stuff, right? Nice, soft, deep breaths. And then with your next inhale, go ahead and open the eye. Now, the benefit of being up on the blocks is we're going to go into an upper back opener right off the bat. You're going to go ahead and you're going to interlace your hands behind you. If that's not available, you can always grab a strap for a little bit more width, right? So those are your two options here. You're going to bring your hands into the sacrum, the triangular bone of the pelvis, and my sacrum doesn't move forward, right? Don't let it be affected by this, but as I push into my sacrum with my thumbs and my elbows a little bent, my shoulder heads are going to start to move back just a little bit. Some of my friends are really flexible in the rib cage, and I'm trying to demonstrate that. Don't let those ribs flare out. Remember, we lengthen the back ribs up off of the back waist. We soften those shoulders back. And maybe not, depends on your shoulders, you might start to reach the knuckles down. Your shoulders should not roll forward. They should continue to move back, and you get a beautiful chest and collarbone opening. Inhale into all that space you're creating in your lungs right now. Big ol' inhale, soft belly breath. And exhale there. Maybe those shoulders soften a little bit away from the ears with the exhale. Take one more inhale and really expand through the lungs. And exhale, soften your tongue and your jaw and your brow. Go ahead and release those hands, but keep some of that work. And then turn your palms up. Inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, turn the palms down and reach those arms back down. Refining. Inhale, reach those arms up. Keep those upper trapezius down. Don't let them lift. Keep them soft. Exhale, turn the palms out and push down through imaginary water. Tricep toning. One more time, we'll add on. Inhale, reach those arms up, straight arms. You can be wider if that's better for your body. Soften the shoulders down. Bring the right fingertips down next to you. Walk them out a little bit. Reach the left fingertips up and lengthen through the side waist. Shoulders soft, by the way. Go ahead and come on over towards the right. The more I sink my right sit bone down and reach away from that, the more I lengthen the right side waist. Now we're going to play with the neck while we're here. We're going to inhale and turn and look down towards the left fingertips. You make this motion as big or as small as is right for you. And exhale, turn and maybe look up beyond the left bicep. Inhale, turn, not the chest, just the head, to look down past the fingers. If this isn't right for you, don't turn your head, right? And exhale, turning to look beyond the biceps. Stay right there. Take an inhale, lengthen even a little more through the side waist. Exhale, soften anywhere that you can. And then inhale, both arms will reach back up. We're going to bring those fingertips down, left fingertips. Walk them out just a little bit. Reach your right fingertips up and lengthen the side waist, keeping the shoulders softly in the socket. And come on over into your lateral, your side stretch, right? And as I sink my right sit bone down and reach away from that, that's where the length begins, right? And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and maybe inhale and turn and look down towards my left fingertip. Soften that left shoulder down. And exhale, turn to look beyond the right bicep-ish, whatever that is for you. Again, you can make this motion smaller if that's better for you. Inhale, you can not turn the head at all if that's better. Turn to look down. And exhale, turn to look beyond the bicep. Inhale, both arms are going to reach up. And exhale, reach those arms out and down. Take just a moment. Maybe notice if your side waist has any sensation going on in it. It wasn't my actual teacher, but I took a teacher once. And what I took away from that class was she would talk about how maybe you feel channels of energy opening. And I just love that. New fluid, new blood, new fresh, oxygen, just things happening in that region where maybe there was a little stagnation, yeah? We're going to go into a twist. So let's put our other shin in front so we even Steven our hips out. And inhale, reach those arms out and up, moving into a twist. We'll begin to use our side waist to turn towards the right, yeah? And then bring your left hand to your outer right knee. Right fingertips can grab the blocks behind you. Inhale, get really tall in the spinal column. And exhale now. Keep the shoulder blades on the back, but pull lightly with the left fingers for you guys, and push lightly with the right fingertips behind you into the block. And you might get a little more rib rotation. And then the head is the very last thing to turn. And actually, speaking of that, let's go to the neck again. So keep your torso turned, but inhale, maybe turn the head to look beyond the left shoulder-ish. Maybe not. And exhale, turn to look back behind you again, keeping the chin parallel to the ground while you do this work. Maybe one more time. Inhale, keep the torso turning to the left, right, even though you're turning the head to the left. Try that again, right? And then go ahead and maybe turn to look behind the shoulder-ish. And let the whole body move forward. Reach those arms out, shoulder heads a little back. Inhale, reach the arms up, turning towards the left. So using the side waist, we start to turn ourselves in, right? Let those abdominals really participate here. Bring the right hand to the outer left knee, left fingertips behind you. Take an inhale before you twist any further, get tall first. And then exhale, using the hands, shoulder blades on the back, I lightly, right, move deeper in using my arms as leverage. Levers, I guess would be a way to write. And then go ahead and turn that head as far as you comfortably can beyond the left shoulder-ish, right, without cranking the neck. Now keep your torso turned. Inhale, maybe turn to look beyond the right shoulder-ish, keeping the chin parallel to the ground. And go ahead and turn back to look over the left shoulder-ish on your exhale. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, keep turning the body to the left even as the head turns to the right. And turn to look over the left shoulder-ish, whatever that is to your body. and then turn the whole body forward again. We're gonna come off of those blocks. You're gonna put them at the top of the mat. They'll do you more good there than they will at the back, yeah? Come on to hands and knees. From hands and knees, pressing down into the finger pads, pressing down into the shins and the tops of the feet. For any of my friends with ankle issues, you can always roll up a blanket and put a blanket underneath your ankles, yeah? Inhale, shoulder blades down the back and reach that chest forward, but try to start working that line of pushing that down for the help of your feet and ankles. Exhale, pull the belly up, rounding the spine up to the sky. And inhale, shoulder blades down the back, reaching the chest forward. Exhale, rounding up towards the sky. So this is called cat-cow. One more. Inhale, shoulder blades down the back as we reach the chest forward, getting into a little upper back bend. And exhale, pull the body up, rounding the spine up towards the sky. Release the head, the neck, the tongue, the jaw, and come back to neutral. We have now moved the spine in the 6 directions that it is built to move. So that's fantastic. From there, we're going to do a little hip circle. So let the hips move over to the left, back behind you, to the right. And don't go too far forward. We don't want to stress the wrists out, right? Just make that circle whatever size works for you without stressing out your arms and your wrists. And go ahead and go the other direction. Hopefully you're still breathing. And then come to neutral. Let the knees go a little wider than the hips. The big toes touch. And go ahead and sink the buttocks back towards the heels. We're going to go right into an active child's pose. So all I mean by that is you're probably going to have your hands go a little further forward. Just so much that the arms are straight, right? And as I push my hands a little forward and down, now they're stuck on the sticky mat. They don't move, but my buttocks move a little further back and I get this beautiful length through my spinal column. You can let your forehead come down to the ground if it reaches, on a block if it doesn't, and go ahead and take 2 breaths. Inhale, and exhale. Soften the hips to the heels. Inhale, let the spine lengthen. Exhale, soften the hips to the heels. Inhale, come up to hands and knees. Move the knees back in. Move the feet a little wide so everything is hip distance again. Make sure you're on the back of your mat. And then you're going to start to walk your hands forward for half downward facing dog. So it's the same arms as what we just had. You'll go ahead and you'll start to reach those arms out and walk them out until you have a line from your wrist to your shoulders to your hips, right? And as I push down into my hands and I push them a little forward, they get stuck on the sticky mat. They don't move, but boy, I lengthen my spine as my hips move just a little bit back, right? Pin those triceps in, those outer upper arms. If I have any rib droppers here, you might want to pull your low ribs up lightly towards the spine and support that low back. Take an inhale. Exhale there, pushing the shins and the hands down. And then inhale, walk the hands back. And let's go ahead and come into a forward fold. And we'll just kind of keep adding on. So you're going to curl your toes under. And then go ahead and start to push your buttocks up towards the sky as you walk your hands back. One of my favorite moves is traction, a form of traction. Make sure your toes are straight forward, bend your knees. Inhale, reach the chest a little forward. You can even put your hands on your shins. And when you lay back down, act like you can lay down on your thighs in order, right? Meaning your low belly would hit first, and then your mid belly, and then your low floating ribs. And soften over the legs. Whether or not you're on your legs is totally beside the point. We're just lengthening the spinal column. Grab onto the elbow points. You might even wiggle the neck and the shoulders just a little bit to make sure they're letting go. And then inhale, soften into this, right? Just let the ribs expand. With your exhale, think of draping down even a little closer to the earth with the torso. One more time, inhale. And exhale. For my friends who want a little hamstring stretch, you might even straighten the legs just a little bit on that one. Inhale, hands on the shins, shoulder blades down the back as we reach the chest forward and come about halfway up. Exhale and fold. We'll do that one more time. Hands on the shins. Come up until your body is parallel, your torso is parallel to the ground, right? And then from there, slide the shoulder blades towards the buttocks and reach the chest forward, gaze a little forward. Now pull your pubic bone towards your navel just a little bit so your low back lengthens. Put your hands on your hips, elbows up, inhale, bring the whole torso up to standing. Exhale, bring those arms out and down. So hopefully we're feeling like we've already got a little bit of space. We'll continue. We're going to take a little time to work in the shoulder girdle with the strap. So go ahead and take that strap, or whatever it is that you're working with. You want something that has some length. It doesn't have to be this long necessarily, but you'll see why in a second, yeah? From there, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna inhale. My hands, by the way, are a little wider than my shoulders. I'm standing in mountain pose, toes straight forward, all the usual suspects. Inhale, go ahead and reach those arms forward and up overhead, and then pause there for a moment. Now make sure that those upper trapezius are sliding down. Move behind your head just a little bit. If you need to go wider on the strap, you do. And then soften those shoulder blades down away from the ears and get the back ribs to float up, right? Off of the back waist. And then from there, go as wide as you have to try to release those arms all the way back behind you and try to keep the arms straight. Now you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna release that strap. If any of my friends, I can't see you guys, this is killing me. If you're like, oh, I can't, go as wide as you have to. If you still can't and you're this wide, get all the way over, pause at that area, right? If I have friends with shoulder injuries, you can always do this number right there, yeah? And leave one arm up to the side. So I bring the strap back in front and inhale. Reach those arms up. One breath now, one movement. Exhale, reaching those arms back behind you, going as wide as you need to, trying to keep the arms as straight as you can. Release the strap, bring it back around front. Inhale, reach those arms up. Straight arms, and now this time notice which shoulder tries to go first or which one lifts in order to let that action happen, or the shoulders are usually pretty asymmetrical as we move through this. So which one is doing what for you? Go ahead and release the strap and bring it back around front. And this time we're going to pay attention to the shoulders. So everything else is still true. I keep my upper trapezius down. I inhale when I lift. I try to keep my arms straight. But now try not to let one shoulder lift up or move back first. Try to move the shoulders in unison as you move back and through. And then go ahead and take that strap, put it off to the side. Hopefully we feel like we got a little bit of spaciousness, particularly in this area of the body. You're going to come on up to the top of your mat. Standing at the top of the mat, in Tadasana, inhale, reach those arms out and up. Exhale and fold in. Hands on the shins. Inhale, that chest forward. Exhale, fold in. A half sun salutation first. Release the neck. Inhale, reach those arms out and up. Pull the low belly in. Let the shoulder heads assist you in coming all the way. Arms stretch overhead. Exhale, reach the arms out and down. You can always continue to come up with your hands on your hip. That's a beautiful way to rise, especially if you have low back issues. Inhale, reaching those arms out and up. We're going to add on this time, friends. Exhale, maybe bending the knees if that feels better in your body today, right? The body you have at this exact moment, not your body from yesterday. Inhale, reach the chest forward. Definitely not your body from 2 years ago. Hands might come to the blocks or to the ground, and we're going to step the left foot back and bring the left knee down. Definitely not your body from 5 or 10 years ago. You get where I'm going with this, right? You're going to make sure your right ankle's underneath your right knee. You can pad the knee if you need to with a blanket underneath it. I'm on carpet, so I usually work with a blanket under my knees, but right now I don't have to on the carpet. Go ahead and slide the shoulder blades down the back as you reach the chest forward. That right hip is maybe popping out to the right, so can you shave that right hip in and back? And then from there, you might just stay right here. You might put the hands on the thighs and start to push the body up. Instead of just shoving the shoulders back, pull up the frontal hip points, pull up the frontal hip points, pull up the frontal hip points. You'll notice I even come out of this a little bit to find a neutral pelvis, right? I'm not slamming in my abdomen. I'm just lifting my hip points lightly. And then those arms can really assist, right? So you might go ahead and bring those arms down. We don't have them up yet. Reach the fingertips down. Inhale, reach those arms out and up, right? And then see if that can help you. Those triceps, lengthen the side waist, but keep the shoulders softening down. Probably feeling the front of the left hip right now. Hopefully. Take an inhale. We want to be in there. Exhale, bring those hands down. We're going to move the blocks if we're working with them. Curl the left toes under. And now we're going to attempt downward dog. So I lift my hips up and back. I'm coming into the same pose I did earlier in both active child's pose and half downward dog, but now I'm bearing full weight. So I'm going to bend both of my knees initially, quite a lot, stacking the heels on top of the ball mounds of the feet. And then when I do that, I can
push my hands forward and down, and I can start to reach those hips further up and back, lengthening my spine even a little bit more, right? Now maybe those heels start to drop down, maybe they don't. It just depends if that makes your spine round forward by straightening the legs. I would say your spine's way more important than your legs, so you might consider leaving the knees bent, yeah? Take an inhale there, and then with an exhale, lengthen those thighs back. Moving on this breath, inhale the left leg into the air behind you. Exhale, step it forward between the hands, bringing the right knee down, uncurling the toes, maybe working with blocks, maybe not. On the blocks, I make sure my left ankle is underneath my left knee. I slide my shoulder blades down my back and reach my chest forward. This might be plenty. Balance might be an issue. Maybe the psoas, the front of the right hip, is already on fire. You might stay right here. If you come up, remember the hands come onto the thigh, and I don't just shove my shoulders back. I pull my frontal hip points, I pull my frontal hip points, I pull my frontal hip points, I pull my frontal hip points until I have that neutral pelvis. Now maintaining that, right, getting that left hip to skim in and back, reach the fingertips down, maybe not, you reach those arms all the way up, right? And then keeping the shoulders softening down, use the triceps to try to lengthen through the side waist. Inhale. Exhale, bring those hands down, move the blocks off to the side. You'll step forward to the top of your mat. Inhale and reach that chest forward. Exhale, fold in, releasing the head, the neck, the tongue, the jaw. Inhale, hands on hips or arms extend out, whichever is better for your body. And exhale, reach the arms out and down. We're going to go in one more time here in this vein. Inhale, reach those arms out and up. Weight in the heels if it's not already. Exhale, folding forward. Now keep a little in the ball mounds of the feet. Inhale, hands on the shins. I push into my shins. My shins don't move, but my chest opens. Go ahead and bend the knees, plant the hands, step the right foot back this time. You can bring the knee down or leave the leg lifted. That's going to be a little more work, a little more difficult, so whichever one's right for you. Right hand either on the ground or on a block, under the right shoulder, left hand, left thigh. Take an inhale and reach the chest forward. My lifted leg friends are going to really reach the heel back too, yeah? And then you're going to exhale and start to turn toward your bent knee, towards the left side of your mat. Keep the shoulder blades sliding down the back. Find all that length in your spinal column, and then maybe the left hand, right, the left shoulder more appropriately reaches up and the arm extends out of that. Playing in the neck again. Inhale, maybe turn to look down towards your right fingertips. And exhale, maybe turn to look up towards the left hand. And then pause, stay there, inhale. Exhale, bring the left hand down. Remove the blocks if they're there. And you're going to try to step back into that downward dog. Now, if downward dog feels like it's more work than you'd like to do, you can always come to hands and knees and do cat-cow. If it's just that it feels like you're not quite strong enough, one way to build the strength is through that half downward dog that we did. And you can just meet us with the foot forward from here, yeah? And I'm showing the half downward dog just in case. My friends, in downward dog, inhale the right leg into the air behind you. Exhale, stepping the foot forward between the hands. Maybe bring the left knee down, maybe leaving the leg lifted, whichever you prefer. And then bring that block in or on the ground. That left hand is under the left shoulder, so the ground or the block. Go ahead and put your right hand on your right thigh. Take an inhale and reach the chest forward. Again, my straight-legged friends, really drive that left heel back and find that, yeah? Exhale, we're all going to start to turn towards our right knee, towards the bent knee. We're going to slide the shoulder blades down the back and away from the ears. And then maybe that right shoulder reaches up a little more, and then I extend my arm out of that. So watch where your shoulder is and extend out of that, right? And make sure that you're not cranking your shoulder to try to lift an arm in a twist. You don't want to injure yourself. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring that hand down, move the block. Step the left foot forward to the top of your mat. Inhale, reaching the chest forward. Lengthening the spinal column, particularly the front side. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, reach those arms out and up. Pull the low belly in to support the low back. Exhale, reach those arms out and down. Maybe pause for just a moment. Maybe even close your eyes
and just tune in to what you're feeling, what's going on in your physical body. And then you might check into the breath. That might have started to get rapid as we started to move a little more there. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to come all the way down to the ground through a chaturanga, which is a push-up like triceps push-up, they call it in the Western workout world, right? So I'm just going to move the blocks so that you can see me. They don't need to be there right now. You're going to stand at the top of your mat if you moved at all, standing up into Tadasana. Inhale, reach those arms out and up. Exhale, fold in. So it starts out the same way. Inhale that chest forward. Find that beautiful length of your spinal column. Bend your knees and plant your hands. Step your right foot back and step your left foot back. So here we are coming into plank. The knees can always come down on the ground if that is better for your body. Right, if you're working plank, be careful of the butt being too high in the air or it's sagging down and cutting into your lower back. Heels back, thighs up, pull your pubic bone towards your navel, chest towards the front of the room. Now come forward on the tippy toes. Feel free to drop your knees here or not. Elbows brush the sides, so shoulder heads lift and really brush the sides of the elbows as you come on down. Uncurl your toes and press into the tops of the feet. And then from there, you're going to inhale. And as those thighs get buoyant, right, the feet push down, the thighs get buoyant, go ahead and pull your pubic bone all the way up through your chest. Chest reaches forward. We lift the chest and the head. I'm not lifting so high that I need my hands to do the work, right? My upper back is what I'm trying to fire up and strengthen here. And then rather, being on a sticky mat, my hands won't move, right? But can you traction your hands back to broaden your collarbone forward? Keep pulling that low belly up so that you do not dive into your lower back. Inhale and exhale. Come on down. Pause for one breath. Inhale. Exhale there. Adding on. Press into the tops of the feet. Thighs get buoyant. Go ahead and pull your pubic bone towards your navel. I also call that zipping up your zipper, right? And inhale, reach the chest forward, sliding the shoulder blades towards the buttocks, tractioning the hands back to broaden the collarbone. And then from there, nothing in the body should change except for at the elbow. I'm going to reach my hands back for the upper body of what's called locust pose or Shalabhasana. So if this is in your low back, come down lower. If this is still in your back, you cannot do it, but you're not supporting your abdominals very well. So pull your frontal hip points, these guys, up, or I'm saying pull your pubic bone to your navel just a little bit, right, to find that length. If it feels okay for you to go ahead and lift your toes about an inch off of the ground, go ahead and lift your toes about an inch off of the ground, reaching the big toes straight back. Pinky toes are heavy. If that goes into your low back, leave the feet down and get out of there. Take an inhale. And exhale, go ahead and come on down. You can either make a pillow for your hands if you want to, with your hands if you want to bring your hands forward, or you can just turn to one side and take a breath there. We're going to go to that locust pose one more time, but this time we're going to try and lift the feet and the chest at one time. But we got to set up and make sure we're safe before we do that, right? So bring your forehead to the ground. I'm going to leave mine a little lifted so you can hear my voice. And from there, go ahead and press into the tops of the feet. The thighs get buoyant, right? Go ahead and zip up your zipper or pull your pubic bone towards your navel. And then the arms are by the side, palms towards the thighs, but they're not connected. Lift the shoulder heads just a little bit so we know where we're headed, right? And then on an inhale, don't get high, get long. Reach the toes so far back, they lift about an inch. Reach the chest so far forward, it lifts a couple of inches, right? We're not trying for height. We're trying to get as long as we possibly can. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, as you come down, go ahead and turn your head to the other way and soften down on that cheek and release and let go and breathe. Release the feet and the ankles and all that stuff too. One more breath, inhale and exhale. So we're going to do a little core challenge on the way up. We're going to bring our hands next to our low floating ribs, or I could say that your wrists are underneath your elbows, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to curl my toes under and push my heels back. And again, as I push my heels back, my thighs get a little buoyant. Inhale, reach the chest a little forward, not into an upper back bend this time, but just to find a little bit of buoyancy in the upper body, crown of the head forward.
Take an inhale from there. You can leave your knees down, right? Or an exhale, go ahead and pull the low belly up and then try to straighten the arms. If you do not come up like a wooden plank as one piece and you come up like a snake, please use your knees. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Or half downward dog, or hands and knees, cat-cow, right? Don't be like, I can't do this video because I give 5 million choices. So there is somewhere you can live. Child's pose is one of my all-time favorites anytime I'm just feeling pooped out all the way around. So you can do this. Come on now. It's my motivational talk to my invisible audience. Take an inhale. And on an exhale, come up on the tippy toes, bend the knees, look forward, step or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, shoulder blades down the back and reach the chest forward. Exhale, fold back in. Release that neck. Inhale, reach those arms out. Come all the way up to standing. Arms might reach overhead. Exhale, reach those arms out and down. And again, just take a moment, pause, and see how you feel. And just to address that one more time, I mean, if there's something that above you, I don't want to push yourself into it so that you injure yourself, but at the same time, honor where you are. I teach in stages for a reason because we all have a different place that we live, and my place differs from day to day, from moment to moment. I'm capable of doing a lot of different things, but some days I don't have the energy, or I just know I need to move softer because I've got a big day ahead of me, or maybe I'm lacking energy. Honor yourself, right? Honor your body and work at the stage that's right for you. And thus ends Crystal Joy's lecture. And from there, let's go ahead. I want to work you one more time on the way down to our buttocks, right? And we're going to do chair pose 3 times on the breath. So I'll show you the side view the first time. You're going to step the ball mounts of your big toes together, right? Make sure there's a little bit of weight in your heels so that your heels and your hips and your shoulders and your ears are in alignment. You're not pitched forward. And then you're going to inhale, reach those arms up. So far, pretty familiar, right? Utthita Hasta and Tadasana is the fancy name. Now we're going to move into what's called fierce pose, Utkatasana. You imagine that there's a chair sitting behind you, and you want to sit down in that chair. But then when you get down, right, put the weight in the heels, pull the low belly up, and then inhale, shoot the heels down to come back up. And exhale, begin to sit down into that chair, weight in the heels, pull your pubic bone to your navel or zip up your zipper, and push those down to come back up. One more time, bring that down, knees straight forward, which they should be doing with the feet together. Now shoulder blades down the back, reach the chest forward, maybe stay there for one breath, one beat, and then come all the way back up, and reach those arms out and down. Anyone feel their quadriceps? Ah, yeah. Go ahead and come on down however you'd like to get there. If you'd like the core challenge of trying to come all the way through chair pose, you can go ahead and add that piece in. If that's not right for you, you come down another way. Let's go into the inner groin. We haven't gone in there very much. So go ahead and let the legs spread wide. I like to remind people we're not talking Cirque du Soleil, right? This is just going somewhere where you can start to feel a little bit of width. And I didn't say you needed a blanket at the beginning, but you know, if your pelvis is doing this number, you might want to sit up on something. If you don't have anything to sit up on, right, that helps the pelvis come into neutrality, then you can always work by bending the legs, flexing the feet, and pushing the heels out. We're all going to flex the feet and push into 2 imaginary walls in front of us. My toes should be pointing up, which means my inner groin need to move down, right? I'm going to bring my fingertips next to me, right at my hip joints, and I'm going to slide my shoulder heads back. That's the outer shoulders. Shoulder blades down the back and get really, really tall here, right? And I may just stay right here if I'm already feeling a stretch in the inner groin as I push through my inner heels. I don't know why you need to go anywhere else. However, if you're not feeling much in the inner groin, and if you can keep the pelvis neutral, right, or not the pelvis, sorry, the spine, you keep the spine neutral and let the pelvis begin to rotate, right, or hinge, and you start to fold out over those legs. And then turn the legs back on because they turned off, right, push through the inner heels. And some of my friends were uber flexible and were already laying on the ground. You might want to come up a little bit, pull the low belly in so the buttocks bones ground down, and you don't go into what's called nutation or compression in the low back. So go ahead and just soften in whichever body it is that you're working with today. Push those inner heels a little further away. Soften the chin towards the chest. Release the jaw, the tongue, any of that stuff that's holding on. Inhale and reach that chest forward. And go ahead and you're going to grab your inner knees to bring the soles of the feet together. Now again, you may choose to sit up on something for this if that helps you find the spine. You're going to grab onto your ankles, slide the shoulder heads back, shoulder blades down the back, and I can even pull against my ankles a little bit to pull my low back into position, yeah? I might just stay right here, softening my inner groin through my inner knee. I might pull against the ankles just a little bit and see if I can let that pelvis do the hinging. My spine doesn't change. I definitely do with my chin, right? And then yes, I do start to soften once I find that final edge, we'll call it, yeah? Chin towards chest, softening your eyebrows, muscles around the eyes, the tongue, the jaw, the shoulders might be tense. Soften the shoulders. Soften the inner groin. Let that expansion go all the way through the inner knee. Go ahead and take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale there and inhale. Reach that chest forward to come on up. And then from there, we're going to come all the way down. We're going to do one more seated pose. I'd like to do a hamstring stretch. Can never go wrong with a hamstring stretch. I have very few people I know who can't use this. We're going to use a strap. Whatever you have is a strap. You're going to put it around the ball mounds of the feet. The legs are extended. Again, feel free to sit up on a couple of blankets or bend the knees, right, a little bit. And as you bend the knees and flex the feet and pull the toes back to you, can you then pull that low back in and up so you have a neutral pelvis? You'll hear me say that 5,000 times. A neutral pelvis, a neutral pelvis, a neutral pelvis. If your pelvis is not neutral, how in the world does your spine stand a chance in this life? Yeah? And then from there, maybe you start to push those heels out to straighten the legs any amount. They may or may not straighten for you. That's the first piece of it, right? For some of my friends, you're ready for a little bit more. You're going to go ahead and from the pelvis, we start to hinge over that. I like to bend my elbows out to the side so my shoulders stay out of it, right? And my arms do the work. And I'm not pulling myself towards my legs. I'm pulling my chest forward and up. I creep my hands forward. At this point in time, some people may get pinky edges of feet, maybe not. Shoulder blades down the back. Do not pull your shoulders out of your sockets. Exhale, elbows wide. Go ahead and pull your chest forward and up as you fold in. And then go ahead and soften all the way in, right? Without the pelvis popping behind you. The pelvis should still be coming forward with you, and then everything softens out of that. 2 breaths. Turn your feet back on. Push through the inner heels. Engage the legs. Inhale the chest forward to come on up. And release the strap. Put it off to the side. Put your buttocks in the middle of your mat. Feet on the ground with the knees bent. Pressing into the ball mounds of the big toes. You're going to go ahead and inhale, right? Shoulder blades down the back. The most intense is to reach your arms out, chest between the hands. Medium intense is to walk down the thighs. But as I pull my low belly in, I keep sliding my shoulder blades down my back and trying to reach my chest forward and up to try to control that all the way down. Go ahead and bring those knees in towards the chest for just a moment. Maybe rock a little bit from right to left. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do 2 bridges and a twist and a shavasana, right? So have the feet on the ground, hip distance, your toes straight forward. And for my friends who like the technicality, right, we can reach our hands down and let our heels touch our middle fingers and then go just a little bit forward of that. And that's usually pretty good alignment for most folks' legs, right? Now from there, you're going to go ahead. The first one, I'd love to just do robot arms, everybody, and I'll give you the interlacing on the second. So my elbows are pinned in at my side. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push down through my arms so that my chest starts to broaden. And then I'm going to push into my feet, particularly my heels, and I'm going to start to roll my spinal column up 1 vertebrae at a time, like I had a chain on your tailbone. And then rock to the right and tuck your left shoulder under you a little bit. Rock to the left and tuck your right shoulder under you a little bit. And again, push down into your arms, your upper arms and your shoulders so that the chest can rebound towards the chin. Let the chin lightly lift up towards the sky so you keep your cervical curve, your neck curve. Push into an imaginary block between your thighs so that you keep the inner groin active. And one more piece on this one. Without your feet actually moving, they're on a sticky mat. Traction your heels back towards the back of the mat, and holy hamstrings, right? Buttocks flush to the back of the knees. Inhale. Exhale, roll down one vertebrae at a time. Let the arms soften down. Take 2 soft belly breaths. Inhale. You're not in a rush to get anywhere, my friend. Exhale. We got a couple of moments left together. Inhale, and hopefully even when you leave me, you won't continue to rush throughout your day. Exhale. Maybe you'll have a sense of softness, of calm. One more time. You're going to start out with your robot arms. Push into the heels. Go ahead and start to lift up one vertebrae at a time. Rock from side to side and tuck the shoulders under you, and then pushing the arms down, find the chest. Now you might reach the hands down, right? Forearms down to the ground. Bring your hands behind and interlace the hands. You might even be able to roll the shoulders under a little more now that you're there. If you interlace your hands, the rule of thumb is you should be able to get your pinky fingers to come down and push into the earth. Right? They're an integral part of opening up that upper back, strengthening it and opening up the chest, I should say. And as you push your pinky finger, your wrist, the forearm, the elbows, the upper arms, the whole arm pushes down. That chest blossoms, yeah? Now push into the inner edge of your feet, or pretend you have a block between your legs so you get that inner groin action, that outer hip hugging, buttocks to the back of the knees, and then traction the heels back today for a little hamstring action. Take an inhale, and exhale, release the arms. Roll down one vertebrae at a time. Pause. Inhale. And exhale. Now tee the arms out to the side, palms up. Walk your feet out the width of your mat. Inhale. With an exhale, let the knees switch to the right. The head might turn to the left. And once you get all settled in, it might feel nice to have that right ankle on the left knee area to help weight that left leg in. Take one more breath there. Inhale. And exhale. Everyone bring the right foot down. And now to modify this and bring it into a different place, right? You're going to go ahead and you're going to let the left knee move all the way over to the right until it's stacked on top of your right knee. You can leave the knees there, or you might even hug the knees a little closer to the right elbow. Make sure you're not pushing the low back out behind you. You might pull the low back in a little bit if that helps the low back. Inhale. Exhale there, and then with an inhale, bring the legs back up and bring the feet back down to the ground. The head comes up as well. Take an inhale, walking the feet as wide as the mat. Exhale, lean the knees over to the left. The head might turn to the right. You might put that left foot on the outer right thigh, knee area. Let it weight you in, and then don't worry about where we're going right now. Just worry about softening. Get out of the way. Take an inhale. Exhale there. Bring the left foot down to the left edge of your mat. Let your right knee continue to move over to the left until it matches or stacks on top of the left. You can leave the knees right there. You might hug them a little closer to the elbow. And again, for some of my friends, the low back bows behind you, right? Or out, I'll say. So pull the low back in just a little bit if you can. Inhale. Exhale there. Inhale the knees back up. Go ahead and put the feet on the ground. If you feel like your hips got displaced, lift the hips, straighten them out and set them back down. Go ahead and let the legs straighten out so the feet are hip distance. Let the arms move down about halfway between being teed out and being by your sides, pinned in at your sides. Take a moment, slide the shoulder blades under your back, not as extreme as bridge, but a similar action. And then soften. Soften your forehead and your eyebrows and the muscles around the eyes. Soften the tongue and the jaw, the throat and the neck, shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. Soften your chest and upper back, through the belly, or the rib cage, the belly and the low back. Soften the hips, through the legs, all the way down through the ankles, the feet, and the toes. This is Shavasana, which translates as corpse pose. A lot of people call this final relaxation. You can call it by any name, but it's just a place where we get to be and we don't have to do anything, right? We let go of the physical body, we let go of the breath, and we let go of the mind. For many of us, the mind gets busy. If that's you, just when you realize it, label the thought, and then when you inhale, say inhale, and when you exhale, you can say exhale. So it gives a home base for the mind. And I'm still here with you. I'm going to be silent for just a little bit here, and then I'll come back and I'll talk you out of your Shavasana. Allow the breath to deepen. And if you want to wiggle fingers and toes, maybe wiggle fingers and toes. If you want to stretch the arms overhead, so all of this stuff is optional. You can just stay entirely still for a few more moments before we get up. Bend the knees, everybody. Roll over to your right, bringing the left hand in front of the chest, pause. You might even hug the knees a little closer. I like hugging my knees in and get a nice tight little fetal position. And then you use that hand to push the floor away, to come on up. Feel free to take a moment and put a prop underneath your buttocks if that helps you sit up a little tall. Or kneel or anything that feels right. But again, come onto a chair if that's best for you. No worries, no shame, no disappointment, no anything, right? That's honoring your body, and I think that is the wisest person I know. Go ahead in the middle of the buttocks, bones root down as the spine grows long. Hands on the thighs. Try palms up, but if you feel like you could use a little grounding, right, rooting, you can turn the palms down. They're both beautiful. And just check in one more time here before we finish. Notice what's happening in your body. Bring your palms together at your chest. Take a big ol' inhale. Get taller. Exhale, keep that height as you bow your head towards your heart. Taking a moment of gratitude that you have this space and this time and that we can still be together even in this form. I think it's pretty awesome. Honoring the light that shines within. Namaste. Everybody say hello to Hunter. She's namasteing you too. Did you hear?